And of course, to restart everything, we brought on a very, very special guest. So here is Amanda Pohlman, who is from Cleveland, Ohio, and is just a wonderful friend of mine who's taught already. I mean, she's taught me already a lot about what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we're going to delve a little bit deeper with you ladies, because I know with all of this going on, I keep thinking there's got to be something that I can do where I'm not working here, 6 days a week showing houses. We've got to figure out what to do with our real estate background and get that passive income going. So I know of almost everybody that I know, Amanda is an expert and just has a giving heart and so generous that she's going to talk to us for several minutes, and we're going to get some insight. So Brittany and I are so excited to have you. And of course, Brittany is in Dallas, Texas, my partner here.
And hello, Sally. Sally's saying hello to us. So I'll interject every once in a while.
Sally.
Give shout outs.
Well, hello, everybody. And thank you, Brittany and Grace, two of my favorite people. I have been wanting to get on and do this. And I know we've been talking about it for a while. And if my goal is, if I can get anybody that's listening excited about how to use your real estate business for lots of streams of passive income, then I have been successful, because I love to teach clients and agents how to look at passive income as a way to wealth build for the future. Should I tell you a little bit about why it's so wonderful for me?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I have been a realtor for 15 years now, which is amazing. I came in when I was 39 years old, and I wide-eyed going, wow. Instead of selling packs of, I used to sell little mixes, and I used to sell DK books. I thought, I'm going to sell houses, because big ticket item, I can make lots of money. And it was purely because I needed to make money. So I was a realtor for a smaller brokerage for probably 7 years. During the 2005 to 2011, so the market was going and I really enjoyed real estate. I realized that it's a people business, isn't it? It's all about being outgoing, and loving people and wanting to help them. And so I worked with a ton of buyers and loved them. They loved me. I couldn't stand sellers. They probably would have hated me because they were losing money, and I don't like people that are unhappy losing money. So I was very happy to be a buyer's agent until somebody came to me and said to me, you should be at Keller Williams. They'll teach you how to grow a business. So I did come to Keller Williams in 2012, and I was very intentional about making more money. I'd done well, but I wanted to make a lot of money. And I felt like I was on this kind of fast track, because I am a mother of 4 boys. They range in age from 19 to 30. And I also have a grandson who is 5.5, and I have a grand blank coming in April. That
might be a girl.
It might be a girl. I'm so excited. So I felt like I'm a single mom. I was divorced, so I felt like I had a lot of catching up to do. I was one of those people that had made no plans whatsoever for my future. I mean, college funds. Luckily, I had some grandparents for my kids that had provided for them, but in no way had I thought about retiring or even building any kind of portfolio. So I did come to Keller Williams to run a business. I said, instead of doing real estate as I've got to make money, let's turn it into a business. So very intentional growth, watching what other people had done, and really thinking life was a lot bigger than just Cleveland. So Grace knows I branched out very early on in finding Keller Williams agents everywhere, like all across the country. And we don't have to look far, do we? There's brilliance there's so much around us. And the fact that Keller Williams agents really share with each other struck me, because I felt like I really could ask questions of people who had done it before. So, what did I plan to do? Yes, I planned to build a team. Yes, I planned to become a listing agent. But what really got me hooked into Keller Williams was profit share. So I don't know how many lady leaders are in Keller Williams, but I'm sure a ton of them And profit share was the number one reason that I came to Keller Williams to make money, because I felt like I wasn't afraid of sharing what I knew worked, or a place that I loved to work at, with other people. And I've never been afraid of that. People say to me, oh, that's because you've done different businesses. And I have. I've done, several businesses that deal with multi-level marketing, home-based parties. And I'm not afraid to say, this is a great product, and if you like it, I sell it. And so profit share was my biggest success with passive income. I went from, I think I brought in 18 people on my front line, which means 18 people, straight to me. And then I built a network that basically makes me 100% every year. I don't pay my brokerage to work there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and it's changed so many people's lives. So yes, it's fantastic, because profit share is something Gary Keller gave us. It's a gift, it's a legacy. We can will it to our children, our grandchildren, and it's beautiful, because it's mailbox money, as Aaron Kaufman would say. But it's also the ability to change lives for other people. And I mean, we know there's incredible stories about people that have had profit share pay for a house payment, put their kid through college, pay for trips. And that is the number one passive income that I think really got me hooked, and then got me thinking about, what other ways can I use my business to make more money?
And you know what, Amanda, let me tell you, I think that I saw something like a golden nugget right there for some people, is that you're not afraid to share, right, what a treasure Keller Williams is. And that naturally increases your reach to people who are going to go under your profit tree, right? Yeah. I mean, because it's not a phony thing. It's, I love Keller Williams and this is why.
Yeah.
And do you want to be part of it?
Yeah, they can feel it. They can see it and feel it. And when I teach passive income, because I train at market centers, I say it's a little bit like dating. You've fallen in love with somebody, and then you kind of want to get to know them, and you talk about them and you ask questions. So when you're introducing people to profit share, you want to know about their business. Tell me more about it. What do you need help with? What are your struggles? Where do you see yourself? So you get into kind of a dating relationship. And profit share is, something that you can offer to them, but you care about them as an agent because you want them to succeed. Ultimately, when you have that mindset of we're all fish in the sea, we all know so many people. As realtors, we want to support each other, and especially kind of raise each other up, that this is an incredible business that we can all do with very little money, and we support each other and can create incredible worlds for our families, for our loved ones, for our teens. Mm-hmm. And so when you get into dating people, you want to kind of really care about where their business is going, what they're doing, and show them how much you love Keller Williams and what that's done for you. And I think naturally people see how excited you are. They see, for me, they'll say, wow, there's so much that you have now in that 7-8 years. Is it all because of Keller Williams? And I say it is, because not only did I build the business because of Keller Williams and because of the people, but I also saw the opportunity, and that opportunity was something I could kind of go after. And it's not that it was clearly defined. It's that there were so many different opportunities depending on what you're passionate about or what you really love. And other people have done it before you, and they want to share that with you. And, this whole profit share and getting into passive income streams came from a coach. I'm going to give a big shout out to Diane Griffin. She was a coach of mine, and I think she had something like 20 streams of passive income. And I was like, wow. Oh my gosh, like I want 10. So I started this kind of little, I would say, training program on one realtor's journey to 10 streams of passive income. And here I am, and I got my 10. So now it's going to hopefully get bigger, and it's going to go other places, because all of this happened on account of my real estate business.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yes. Yes.
I want to hear, what are they? What are they?
I know.
What are they? So I think the most important thing to know, though, is if you have a profitable business, and we have to teach each other when we run our businesses, we have to teach about running it as a business, right? We've got P&L, profit and loss. we want to, at the end of the day, make sure that we stay within what we should as far as what our expenses and our cost of sales are. And we know our numbers. And I think, believe it or not, my background is that I love accounting. So I love numbers, even though I don't come across as being very concise with them. I actually love to see them and know them. So when you are taught to treat your real estate career as a business, or treat it as a business, and you know the numbers, you know at the end of the day, you do want to write off what you can, but you also want to make a profit, because we're all in business to make profit. There's no point in us doing all of this, running around, spending a lot of time, and then not making any money. And I think very early on, I realized that I wanted to be a profitable business such that I could then leverage it and be able to qualify for loans so that I could get into what I'm very passionate about, which is my number 2 passive income, which is buy and hold. So that is buying rental properties and holding them, and then them renting out, and those renters paying for all of my costs, you know, my mortgage, my taxes, whatever the costs are, and then me cash flowing positively at least 500 or more a month. And my financial planner said to me, you know, real estate, just do what you're doing to build your, basically your retirement. And just, he said, go find one place a year and buy it. And you know that you'll be set to retire. Because I've done enough wealth building to know that as long as I have, you know, whatever the asset is, and it's cash flowing positively, at least $500 a month, I'm going to have enough to retire on when I get to retire, which hopefully won't be too long. I'm on a fast
So Amanda,
track.
how do you go about finding the properties? How do you identify the properties that you're going to buy and hold?
Good question. When I got into real estate in 2006 and the market started tanking, Cleveland was very hard hit with a lot of foreclosures, a lot of stressed properties. And because I was new to Cleveland and I didn't have a sphere, honestly, my 3 buckets, like the 3 ways that I made most of my contacts and did most of my business was 1 from renters, 2 from investors, and 3 from floor time, which was where I was at a brokerage where you literally picked up the phone when they called in, and then you were kind of a glorified secretary, but in the midst of that, people would call and ask, you know, I want to see a house. So I got very, very investor savvy. And it was only that I learned through investors, because they were coming in droves and they were buying up tons and tons of our properties that were in foreclosure. And it was a pretty rough time here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I learned from them. Yeah, it was a great way to get my feet wet. I knew nothing about investing. I didn't come from a family where anybody had looked at buying a piece of real estate as an investment, but I learned quickly from the investors. So I would always say we, and people would think that I was investing, but I wasn't. I didn't have the money because I was at a different brokerage, and I was, you know, giving a big split. And as well as I was doing, I really wasn't making the money that I could ever go out and be an investor. So I learned the language of investing, and I teach that in my class, where I talk a lot about the 1% rule, cap rates, ROI. And it's not that I'm certainly nowhere near the most sophisticated with investors, but I know the language well enough, and I've taught my team. And I think investors, once they know that you understand and you want to guide them, because the last thing I want is investors to come into Cleveland and go, you know, you guided me wrong. I lost all this money and I'm out. That's the worst thing. And it can happen when there are bad people giving poor advice, or property managers that are not in the business of doing what they're supposed to do. They're ripping people off. So I just got very comfortable with investors. And then naturally, when I started to make money, I thought, well, I've got to do this too, because I know how to do it. It's almost like if I was a stockbroker and I knew stocks, I'd probably be crazy, right? Buying the stocks before they went up and do really well. I know real estate, so I can help people with that.
Gary Keller talked about that, which he always tells the agents to invest, but he talked about it a couple of years ago. It might've been a mega camp. And he just said, like, what do we know best? We're so fortunate, we're realtors. And like you said, there's so many of us, we know real estate best. Right. So we know how to advise people, but sometimes we don't make the correlation and connection to advise ourselves.
Right. And we often have first look at things. I mean, the house I bought this year was a couple of doctors with children. COVID had just hit. And literally I walked in his house and he said, I don't want anybody in my house and I'm moving to California and I want an investor to buy my house. And he told me how much and I said, well, I'll buy it. And it was one of my best investments. I actually just put it up for rent today. So I was like bombarded with rental calls. But the other part of it is great. Now I've got a whole database of people that are looking to rent. And I hate to say it, renters are usually either in predicaments where a house hasn't sold or they're moving or they're kind of feeling their way. They're some of your best long-term clients for buying and selling. And so I'm always one that says to my team, you know, let's take the renters, let's nurture them. They often turn into a lot of money for us. I remember one was a British family that came to Cleveland. They had 4 children. I think I showed them a rental and got the one for $1,200. I got $8 million worth of business when he went on to be the head of some nephrology department somewhere in Texas. And he kept buying nice big houses and I was his realtor for life. And he gave me the referral too.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I always say knowing and understanding the investor market gives you an opportunity. And again, there are several other things that come out of knowing investing, because if you're just a realtor and you're selling a house, you're just a realtor selling a house. If you're a realtor that really cares about what they are buying, could also be an investment for the future or for their kids' college funds, you look at it differently. You're selling something for their future, and you're selling something that passively could be a buy and hold if they get moved away because they're doctors and they go on to their next hospital. And then in Cleveland, they can hold that. And at least, I mean, 500 or more on some of our properties is easy to cash flow positively after all expenses.
So what price point are you talking about when you say 500 or more? What price point in your market?
So I work mostly in the price point of around 100 to 250,000 for what we call investment properties. So it could be a single family that's a more stressed property, or it could be a multifamily which has 2 or 3 units. And depending on whereabouts it is, because there's different cities, suburbs around Cleveland, if they're 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Cleveland, most of your renters are going to be medical interns, doctors, residents, because they are on call and they have to get to the hospitals quick. And, you know, we are leading edge with our medical facilities, Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals, Case Western Reserve. So we have constantly, we have something called Match Day in March, and we match people from all over the world and they come in. And we are a transient community. We have people from everywhere. And, you know, if you just think of, let's just say Case Western Dental School, you know, there's a lot of people that send their kids to the 4 or 6 year programs. And all they want is safe and, you know, updated housing. And when you have something that's, you know, a little bit better than normal. And when I say that, we have old housing stock. So I'm just talking about, you know, some updates or central air conditioning, even an attached garage. You can get really good rents. We blow the 1% rule kind of out of the water.
Wow.
So,
Do you?
Yeah. So I'll give you some examples. So I bought a 2-family for $140,000. Now this was my first multi, so it's an up and down. I invested my 25% down. I took out a mortgage. So this was probably about 5 years ago. So I'm sure the rates weren't as good as they are today. But let's just say the rates were about 4%. So when I did my investment property, you know, you pay a little bit more with the lender when you're an investor. So maybe my rate was 5.5%. But I inherited a tenant on the bottom. She was paying $950, and then I got a new tenant for $1,250 at the top. So $1,250, so that's about $200. And then my costs with my taxes, insurance, and mortgage came out to about $1,200 and something. Then because it's a double, so it's up and down, all the utilities are separated except water and sewer. So I have to include water and sewer as something that I pay for, unless I want to bill it back. In this case, I didn't. So I've got about $100 a month. So the great thing is that I'm cash flowing at least, let's just say $800-900 a month, and the renters are paying off my mortgage. Now, we don't have amazing appreciation in Cleveland, but the market's the hottest it's been for like 25 years. So my little 2-family today, 5 years later, is worth $175. So it's made a little bit of money, and it's still cash flowing. And I've kind of identified different opportunities. So I have an apartment building, I have an Airbnb. I love Airbnbs. I have that single family. I just kind of go for the opportunities, and I try to do a little bit of everything. So I'm a little diversified in a way.
You're smart. Okay, let me get to the ladies here. We have lots of people watching. So thank you everyone for being here. But Missy Webb out of Oklahoma says she wants you to say garage again. Sally says you sound like home, and Allison says, oh my gosh, because of course these numbers are amazing.
Yeah,
you know, for sure. So if you want to just tell Missy garage one more time so we can move on.
Oh, hi Missy. I know Missy. Garage. You just have to
garage.
Garage, yeah. And I've often been like, everybody picks up on the word garage. I'll never say garage. So yeah, garage always gets me a little bit of it. Okay, so that's number 2. So I talked a little bit about Airbnb. That's actually one of the best properties because I bought my little Airbnb. It was a little 2-bedroom, 1 bath, like an 800-900 square foot tiny little bungalow, but on this really cute little walkable area near the French bakery and the Gigi's on Fairmount, which is my best friend's restaurant. And I bought that for $85,000, and that one rents for approximately $100 a night. That was my first one, so I didn't have $85,000, so I put down 25% and put a mortgage on it, and I think my mortgage, taxes, and insurance is about $700 a month. So Airbnb has been incredible. Again, I do train about how to be successful with Airbnbs. I think you need to have the core 4 around you, which is the team of 4. You've got to be supported well by your cleaner, your handyman, and then I always say your mortgage broker, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. You're following city ordinances. And because you're a realtor, you have like a higher level of, you must conform to all the rules. And that's been a darling little house that's, I'm basically buying these places so all my kids have a house and or income, forever and ever, and they can decide what they want to do with it.
Yep. We have, Amanda, we'll have to get together on that too, because we have 3 Airbnbs. It's one of the things Grace was like, let's do this, So we've started investing in Airbnb. For one, it's so much fun and amazing to do. And we have a really historic downtown in McKinney, which is just north of Dallas. So it's funny because every time I tell people we have Airbnbs, they always laugh. They're like, what are people going to McKinney, Texas for? But we stay very booked on all of ours, and it's really fun. And we bought one for each of our kids. And then now we just got a 3rd one. I don't know who will. We're not having any more kids. So I don't know who will.
Grandchild coming along.
Oh yeah, maybe way a long time from now. My kids can't get married till they're 30.
I think with Airbnb, you have to be really purposeful about where you buy it, because you've got to attract whoever it is that you're attracting. And for us, it was being close to the medical downtown. I mean, I can tell you, always people want to come in, live in a house while their loved one is having surgery or operations. We also had we have a plastic surgeon on the other side of town, and a lot of people come in for new facelifts and boobs and all that stuff. So we have that too. And then we had a lot that came in for bowl games for the Cleveland Indians, and that dried up. Obviously. Playhouse Square. So a lot of the arts, where they did a lot of the, depending on what was the performances that were going on downtown, we had people that would stay from New York for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. We found
but
that.
Amanda,
go ahead, Grace.
I was going to say, just looking at your numbers, what you just said, you have to have your Airbnb rented out, 9-10 days a month, and then everything else is profit, right?
Right. That's all.
And that's what our margins are the same way.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and if you have the right people around you, you can turn it around quickly. It's easy, isn't it, Brittany? You don't even have to meet people.
It's not, and that's what's so funny. Everybody asks how time consuming, and I have a friend of mine who's in the real estate industry who's had a property manager, and he's not been happy with, and they charge 25 to 40%. And I said, listen, once you set your templates, which Amanda, we'll have to talk offline. We have templates for everything. We've created systems just like we have with our real estate business. So it's very easy. Even a virtual assistant can run it now. You know, we have programmable locks. We have, you know, when they book, you send them the rules. When they confirm the rules, you send them all that. So it's very systematic, but it really is not that time consuming if you have the clientele and you prepare. And I think just like in real estate and just what Keller Williams teaches us, and then especially I learned this in leadership, is if you set the expectations, you have amazing guests. And like I said, we have 3. We started about 1.5 years ago, and knock on wood, we haven't had any major instances where, you know, incidents where you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get out of this business. And Amanda, I mean, we get, without going too much into that, but you shared, so I'll share. We like to do at least 4,000 a month on our Airbnbs.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's good.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just, and once you get 1 or 2 of them, it's just duplicate. And I want to contribute for me, what has been successful in doing that. Like, just like you were speaking of, was a local lender here, Medi, kind of set me down and had a good conversation. He said, hey, you know, we had a property we paid cash for. He said, don't buy one house with cash.
No.
Break it up, buy 4 houses and put 25% down. And I was like, I was a little embarrassed. I've been in real estate 16 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of this?
No,
I was in my 20s, you know?
But honestly, that's like the elephant in the room. It's like, don't use your money, use other people's money. And back to what I said at the beginning, when you have a profitable business, you can show it as a self-employed person or whatever you are, LLC, S Corp, you can show that you make money. Everything that I have done is leveraged from my stool, like Gary Keller teaches in Quantum Leap. Your stool is the base of everything. You've got to have that stool. So for those agents that go, oh, I'm so great because I write off everything and I don't pay any taxes, this whole thing is not going to work for you because that is no leverage off of what you're making.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got to file our taxes, and we've got to make sure that as self-employed people, we have the money so that we can get the loans. And I can tell you, Brittany, we can, you know, we can use, I think, up to 10 Fannie Mae loans using investor rates with 20 or 25% down. Yes. I mean, my local lender loves me because I just keep on buying stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like you said, we don't think about in the real estate industry, we surround ourselves with amazingly smart people and mortgage lenders and handymen and contractors, all of those. We have to use those for our own personal advantage also. And I think that was when the light bulb went off, and it's like, I'm surrounded by all these really intelligent people. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know someone who knows more than I do. And so
yes.
And focus on that.
And they'll do it for us because at the end of the day, we're recommending them to a lot of our clients. So they're appreciative. They're going to put you first when, you know, I've had one bad thing in my Airbnb where something broke in the plumbing, and then somebody was over there very quickly to kind of fix it all up.
Yeah. And I think with Airbnb too, one of the really cool things about that is, like we said, kind of the minimal investment. We're in the real estate world. Most of the people that stay in my Airbnbs a lot of times are long-term, which I love. But they're referrals from other agents. So Dallas is very transient right now. We have a lower inventory. We have a lot of builders. And of course, with COVID, the building times are taking a long time. Even just earlier today, an agent in my office, they all know I have Airbnb. So they're constantly calling me. And I don't want to tell you how many clients I've gotten off of Airbnb. You better bet that my description says, I'm an agent while you're here. If you're in town checking out the place, let me know if you want a tour. I mean, I have a $700,000 client coming into town this weekend. We've sold 2 or 3 high-end clients just by looking at our Airbnb. No referral fees, no one to split it with, no one to check that. And a lot of times we can refer out the house they're selling. So, it just comes full circle. And I love to offer that as a service to my clients to say, hey, if you buy with us, up to a week is free on us while you come to visit. So, and we just reimburse them when they come back.
You speak exactly my language. So she's got a place for her clients. She's getting potential buyers and sellers from it. And she's getting agent referrals because everybody thinks of her when it comes to Airbnbs in your area.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
brilliant. Okay,
so y'all are so brilliant.
No, but
Grace has them too. Grace is trying to be private. Grace has short-term rentals too.
And we learn.
Yeah, but I don't make the money you guys make. I don't.
But it
Not
doesn't
yet.
mean just learning about being in business, right? And leveraging our real estate business for other income. That's all it is. It's like, we don't want everybody in real estate to run themselves ragged and not have a family life. And then they go, I hate this job because I'm never home and I'm just tired all the time. If you look at it as ways to leverage for passive income, you build an empire. Okay. Number 4.
Okay.
So number 4, I talk about title company affiliations. I'm not sure, it varies state by state. You know, when you're doing enough business, investing in an ABA with a title company is extremely lucrative. And again, I never knew about it until I came to Keller Williams. Nobody ever told me or showed me until I came to Keller Williams. And, you know, I'm not going to go into numbers, but you can make a lot of money, can't you, from your title company ABAs? Now, that does depend on the state, and obviously you have to disclose it as a relationship. And often it's market center to market center, because you might have some within your market center. But I always say, you know, ask around. If you're doing a lot of business and you're referring to title company, ask them if they have any opportunities for you.
That's amazing. You know, I didn't know about that either, Amanda, until a lot of West Coasters do that. So will you talk just really briefly? You don't have to get in the numbers, but essentially title companies make money because we're referring them business. They issue the title insurance policy and then they get a portion of that. So there's opportunities if we're having a preferred vendor that the relationship can go 2 ways. You can invest in the title company so that you're gaining back a portion of that business that you're sending that way. Is that right?
Yes. And it's a lot. I mean, I think one of them, I invested $2,500 and, you know, made probably 5 or 6 times that amount per year. It's different now, you know, it depends. It depends on what is offered and what's out there and how many shares you are qualifying for. But again, it goes back to, are you in business? Are you doing a lot of business? Because people want to be in business with you. Yep. Number 5, for me, it was market centers. So I realized that the whole model with Keller Williams and, you know, being a franchise, that there was an opportunity at some point down the road to become a market center investor. And I did seek it out. I went to my broker and said, how do you become an owner? And he's like, well, Amanda, you have to do this and that and this and that. So it was all about, you know, bringing people into the market center, teaching and training, you know, going to family reunion, going to mega camp, you know, getting into coaching, basically living the Keller Williams model, right? And then it's just looking for the opportunity and doing everything you possibly can to stand out so that, you know, should it come up, when they think about partners, they'll think of you. So I did get an opportunity very early on. And I always talk about, you know, I had a wonderful investment opportunity. And then I opened a business center and brought in other agents so that they, you know, a little small business center would become eventually a market center. You know, there was an income opportunity between myself and 4 other people to open the business center. And when our business center actually closed after 3 years, but when it actually did, the amount of money that I'd made then put me into the market center, and I became a 2.5% owner. Then I became a 4.8% owner. And then this year I became a 39% owner of my new market center.
That's awesome.
I know. And it all started with that little piece and that kind of being annoying and wanting to get it done. And I'm very proud to say that CJ Trevisano and I purchased the Solon Market Center, which is outside of Cleveland, earlier this year. We closed in February, just about a month before COVID hit. And it's been an amazing ride. We are learning a lot.
Yeah, I bet. It's nowhere but up from here.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's, so I always say, when you're in Keller Williams, you can blow the world up. There is so much that is available, and you've just got to go find it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so how else do I passive income? I mean, I wouldn't say this is passive, but I would say it as an opportunity. So I'm going to be taking my broker's exam, and I will be the broker of our market center next month. And that's exciting because you know, it's another natural kind of progression of doing more and becoming more involved in leadership and you know, attracting more agents. And I also just completed my KWU University, and I became a KWU University trainer on October 1st.
Yay.
Amanda.
You're so
So
cool.
that was my passion. It's like, I want to become a better presenter. So I embarked on that 2 years ago. And of course, I'm sure somehow you make money with it, but I haven't figured that out. I'm just so excited to be able to present what I present, and now the Keller Williams training, and meet more agents and get out and about more. I love that. More passive income. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Relco Move is a moving concierge company. It was started by a local guy here who has deep roots in Keller Williams, goes right back with Mary Tennant, Gary Keller, Mo Anderson. So Relco Move is like a concierge moving company. And it's where, you know, we're in front of buyers and sellers all the time. And all you're doing is giving them the company and saying, you know, let them quote your move, or let them give you pricing for packing and decluttering. And it's a passive income opportunity, can come back to the market center and the agent individually. And, you know, not a lot of people know about it, but I know a lot of people that do know about it. And I would say they do probably 50% of our moves. The nice thing is you're kind of handing it over to someone else. They're going to do the quotes all the way to the actual move. You're just getting some sort of referral fee back from the company because you introduced them to the client. So you just think about things like that. They have a portal. Anybody can go on relcomove.com and you can sign up as an agent.
Oh, that's super smart. Are they nationwide too, Amanda?
Yes, they are. They do a ton in Texas.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, yeah, they do a lot.
So
With
Amanda, let me ask you a really dumb question. So when you get a referral fee from the moving company, it doesn't go to your market center, right? Does it go to a different LLC, or how does that work?
Oh no, it depends on how you set it up. I believe they have some relationships with market centers and then with individual agents. At the end of the day, it's not very much, but it's something, right? And again, it's you. If you have a good relationship and you have a good outcome for your clients with someone you trust, of course you're going to refer them over and over again. The guy, John Burkhart, he just happens to be one of the most trusted names in moving, and has been for many, many years. So it was a really, you know, for me, it was just a great find. He happens to live in Vegas half the year too. So he's in Cleveland and in Las Vegas.
That's smart. You know what we have here too, that you got my wheels turning, Amanda, and many of you ladies might have something too. Dallas is very strange. We have like 48 electric companies. So you shop electric companies unless you're in a co-op. And we have like utility concierge. And you're right. Now that you're saying that, I mean, I just know this from my previous team leader experience. We're making the introduction anyway. It's just setting it up so that if they do want to take advantage of the opportunity for them to set up all your utility services.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's really beneficial for the clients. They get a better deal. They set everything up. They don't have to call all the electric companies to get all the quotes. So that's really smart. And I just never even thought about that.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of networking, isn't it? And
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard about that too. And I think, you know, people that are doing that, they're probably making some good money, especially because you're the realtor and people are going to be asking you about utilities. Home warranty companies. I don't know, again, who you guys are affiliated with. We use America's Preferred Home Warranty. They are terrific. They give our market center and us per sale. So, you know, depending on whether it's a buy or a sell, and it's quite a bit. It's $50 to the agent and $50 to the market center. You're basically filling out a data form. They also have a coverage on it that will give the agent up to 80% of their deductible for an E&O claim. And that's just so that you just get your client to either accept the warranty or waive it. And they also have some coverage for the sellers now. So if the seller gets sued by a new buyer or something, there's a little bit of legal coverage. So we sell the most warranties. We always have. We love them. I put them on all my rental properties. I use the America's Preferred. They have a great new construction a two-year warranty now that's unbelievably inexpensive, that covers everything after the builder's warranty runs out. Again, you know, that came through the market center, but I would say we're in an area that we do a ton of business with America's Preferred. Any warranty company, I'm sure they have something.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8.
7, it was 8. Oh, wow, it must be on 11. Insurance company, we have an insurance provider, and again, we put it into all of our forms that our clients will basically get a free home fax of the house they're buying. And when they sign up for it, he asks them, can he quote on car insurance? And I think just by getting the quote, he puts some money onto a gift card, and boom, your little Visa gift card just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you've got more money to entertain your clients. Again, it's not very much money, but it's something, isn't it, for something that you're referring. And obviously, caveat, everything has to be state to state. It might be different. So you've got to abide by the laws of RESPA.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it a little bit further when I got my real estate business going, and I thought, well, what can I do to create some opportunities within my team? So one of the girls that came onto my team was really good at staging, and we worked out that the year before we had given the stager almost $65,000 worth of staging business. And we were like, well, how about we start a business? So we did. So we started an in-house staging business. And the nice thing about that is it really is passive. So I obviously provided the staging materials, and which honestly, we get them mostly from houses when people don't want stuff.
Yeah.
And then the problem is we've got too much stuff and we don't know where to store it. So then it's like all the rest.
Airbnb, you need to build
Right.
a garage to Airbnb.
Yes, right.
We did.
Yeah, so we actually have quite a bit of furniture, and she loves staging. So I basically leveraged it so that she was the one that did it all. We utilized the people on the team as, you know, for movers. Like we haven't got a truck yet. We were thinking about a truck, but then COVID hit and staging kind of went, so we were like, oh, good job we didn't get the truck. Yes, we haven't done very well with it this year. No, we haven't, but it was a value add again for our clients at the listing appointment. I could say to the sellers, you know, we do have a staging company, so everything that we do for you is at cost. You know, you can't beat the rates. And we have a professional stager on the team, and she will come and do X, Y, Z. It just worked out really well. And I think it really helped her, you know, have a little piece of the business, because I want to create worlds for my team so that they're looking at how they can make money. I want them to leverage, you know, make money, passive income, so that they can build great big worlds. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least is this property management, which again, I don't know that all market centers or states allow agents to property manage. So ours does not. So I am only a property manager for my own properties. But you see, I leverage around it. I built a little MREA model around it, much like you, Brittany. It's like, what can I do that I already know? So I leverage my children. They're on payroll. You know, one's out there doing all the calls for when, you know, plumbing needs done, or, you know, door smashed or something. And then another one is helping with the staging and moving things. So you just create a little business around it. Again, it's not making a lot of money, but everything kind of starts somewhere and builds and builds and builds. So I'd like to think of my kids doing the snowplow. Like you can't get a decent snowplow. What if I just got one of my kids a nice truck and boom, he's the snowplow guy and he's snowplowing for everybody. There's just so many opportunities that you can leverage and bring your family in. And I'm all about definitely, if I want to give my kids money, I'd love to give them money through real estate or through the business. So I'd love to pay them. So all of my children at some point, one of them has an accounting degree. He's done all my books. One of them does all my property management. One of them's doing lots of our concierge on our team. You know, my other kid is going off to college, but he was working for us during COVID because nobody was coming in the office. So he was the person at the front of the office. And I just, I always think of ways that we can, you know, bring the people in that we love and care about and create an income for them so that you're doing it smart because you're writing it off as part of your salaries and part of your costs, and they are, you know, useful. You can't pay them for doing nothing. They have to do what they're supposed to do, but then they're useful and they get a little bit of a taste of the business that mom's trying to create for them.
Yeah, that sounds like a dream to me.
I was waiting for one of them to want to get their license and nobody did. They're all like, oh gosh, no. And now one of my sons is going through real estate school. He's going to start as a showing assistant next month.
1 out of 4 is not bad, Amanda.
Yeah, right. I know.
And they're young. I mean, by the time they're 30, 35, they may want to say, hey, Mom, remember? Let me start. Yeah.
I hope so. My oldest is in the mortgage business now, and he's got a fabulous job. So at least, you know, it's a part of our, he's not in the mortgage lending. He's actually on the accounting side. But at least, you know, it feels good to have him in the same industry.
In your world. Mine always say they want to be in real estate now as they're getting older. They're like, well, either I want to be a realtor because they're just trying to please me, or maybe an engineer. I'm like, okay.
But little do they know, this is one of the very best businesses anybody could do, because it's so much more than real estate, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to get all like weird here, but you know, coming to Keller Williams, it's all about growth and it's all about believing in yourself and what you can do and create. And I've always felt like there's no place like Keller Williams for the opportunity. The opportunity is off the charts.
Agreed.
And that's why I'm here. That's why I stay. That's why nobody would ever be able to tell me any differently, because I love the people. I've met incredible people. And I think my success is on account of all the people that have taught me. The Ellie McIntyres, the Malcolm Lawsons, the Hudson Warrens, the Nikki Kleins, everybody. Brittany, you taught me how to do Canva, remember? Grace, Grace did a referral with my amazing DOO's best friend who moved to Savannah, and that's how we fell in love with Grace, because oh my gosh, you took such good care of them.
Well, thank you. And you know what I can hear in your voice, Amanda, which is something that I hear in a lot of people. I think it's a Keller Williams thing, right? It's more than just us selling the house. It's really about building like others around us, like your team. And it's about leaving a legacy for our kids. I've had that conversation with so many people that we see our position in life. I mean, I've never seen someone say, you know, I used to work for the Navy. I used to write conventional and nuclear weapons loading manuals. I never said, this is what I want my kids to do. But so many people are building something in real estate to leave their kids because we see the opportunity. I mean, we see what we could have done if we were 20, 25 doing this, right?
Right, I know.
And that just makes, I mean, I think that Keller Williams is the only place that I know that we try to build up our families this way and leave them with something amazing.
And if only we had known, and I talk about me, if only I had known when I was 20 and 30, and if only I'd believed in myself the way that I have hopefully inspired and motivated the young people that have come into my world and my team and my market center. Like, I feel like they have such a gift. They're so far ahead of where we were. And then when they're 40 or 45 or 50, they're not doing the mad catch up. Like, sometimes I feel like, although I came into real estate at 39, I really didn't learn about building a legacy and building passive income until a lot later. And I'm on this hamster wheel of like, I've got to catch up. Because, you know, honestly, I didn't have, I mean, eight years ago, I didn't even own a home. I did previously when I was married, but I didn't own a home. So it's very cool to me to see how this can change in a matter of just a few years.
An evolution.
And I see that, Amanda, because I don't make the kind of money that Brittany and you are making on your rentals, but in 18 months, I've purchased 3 properties because all of a sudden the light bulb went up in my head thinking, I mean, I've been given this opportunity. I'm the first one to walk into this house, and I'm very honest with the sellers, right? I say, this is what we could get you on the market. and this is what, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I make them sign a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that I'm protected, that they're protected. But it's been 3 houses, and I think, where's my next one? Where's my next one? You know?
It's so addicting.
Well, for Steve, my husband, he's very analytical, and he sees, I mean, if I put down $37,000 on a property, right, and make $500 to $600 a month on it, where are you going to put that in a bank to make that kind of return?
Right.
You're not. I mean, he sees what we have in the USA. I mean, we make what, $1.17 on $25,000, really? You know, and he's like, whoa, okay.
Especially these areas that have the appreciation too. You know,
Mhm.
these areas that have
we forget about that because, you know, people that are investing in real estate, they don't bet on appreciation, right? They're betting on the cash flow. But the appreciation, especially in probably your areas compared to mine, that's an added bonus. That's why most people make their windfalls is, you know, buying a property in California and then it's worth so much money.
Yep.
There's appreciation in it too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just finding, we like our little niche, of course, is the downtown area, but finding one that has, you know, a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and where can we sneak in an extra bathroom?
Yeah.
You know, just constantly, it's huge. And then there's 60,000 in equity all of a sudden. I literally will have people come ask me to buy the Airbnbs all the time.
Yeah.
But it's too lucrative to sell.
And I think the big message too about all this is it's also great about, you know, building a business, building a legacy, making money. But at the end of the day, the money that we make is for us to do good. And also the money that we make is for us to buy back time, for us to spend with our loved ones and spend on people so that they also have more time. And I always have to keep that in perspective because this is not about the rat race of making so much money. This is about being in a position to help other people and to have time to be in the relationships with people. And I think that's the so important part of what we do. You know, at Keller Williams, we've hung out with so many people that do so many incredible things, but I think it's kind of elevated. I'm just going to talk personally, but for me to be a better person, for me to want to be more philanthropic, for me to want to hang out and motivate and be around people that you know deserve more or they want to do more. And that's kind of what it's changed. You know, I think Gary says Keller Williams is not about what you get, it's about who you become. And you really do become a different person. I'm an entirely different person because of the people I've met in this company and what they've taught me.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds familiar, doesn't it, Grace?
It does.
You know who does an amazing, another thing while we're on the topic that is Ben Kinney's course. I don't know if you took it, Amanda. Grace and I did, and it was mind blowing for me. And even my 9-year-old was highly involved in it. Was the Win, Make, Give by Ben Kinney, that series for free. I would have paid $20,000 for it. I tell you,
I know.
It was amazing everything that he did and put that into perspective. You know that
and easy to understand. See, that's why I like talking to Amanda because it's easy to understand. There are people that throw numbers at me and stuff or whatever, and I'm just like, you know, come on, bring it down. Amanda, you make it easy to build passive income for people to understand, right? I think that's your gift. I think Ben Kinney's Make, Win, Give thing was amazing because even someone like me, step by step, could do it, right? Because I don't have any C in me, and it just drives me crazy looking at numbers. It really does. But that was so amazing. And his investment series is coming up, isn't it?
Yes, and you know I joined the Ben Kinney expansion team.
Oh,
I was the first Ohio Ben Kinney expansion team with Place. And let me tell you, you want to know why Ben Kinney? Because he's my people. That he's the one that teaches us about wealth building, passive income, the simplistic way that he can tell you, you know, what is your net worth? Well, here's how you calculate it. What do you need to retire? Well, here's how you calculate it. It's like, we should be teaching it in our market centers and out in the community probably 2 or 3 times a year.
And small business owners, it's a good opportunity for us as agents. Give it. I gave it to so many of my friends who run small businesses because they have no idea, no correlation with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I adore wealth building, and Ben Kinney definitely is one of the leaders with that. And Keller Williams is going to do a lot too, you know, putting into action with our social equity committees and just building opportunities and building ways that agents can look at their business as not just selling real estate, but building so much business and wealth and understanding around wealth building, and then, you know, put it out there into the communities, because that's what we want to do. We want to influence everyone to be able to be a homeowner or an investor or both or more. Just goes on and on.
What a great conversation. I'm
Yeah,
so glad, Amanda. I mean, I'm so glad you were able to join us tonight. This has been, I mean, eye-opening for me. I learned a lot. I mean, I never thought of title companies and moving companies and home warranty companies. Okay, so I'm going to be thinking. And I mean, it's just amazing to me. So I don't have any additional questions. Brittany, do you have any questions? I told Amanda an hour.
Yeah, no worries. Sally just said, Grace, you're her twin, because she doesn't like numbers either. And I say the same, except for 3%. I can calculate that on a dime on any.
I wonder why.
No idea. No idea.
I want to thank you for having me as your guest. I was tickled pink, and I'm so happy we did it, because yesterday it wasn't going to work. So today it worked.
Yes. And thank you, ladies, for all showing up. And Amanda, thank you so much for being so kind and putting this together and formulating and sharing with us. It's amazing. I love how we learn from each other and bring each other up, especially in Lady Leaders and Keller Williams in general. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a nice night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. That was